Out of like curiosity, if it's okay if I ask, how well did you do on like the MCAT?
I score 516. That's about a 93 percentile according to the official MCAT
That's really good.
scaling. Yeah.
Hey everyone, uh, this is Alex from the Self Started Podcast. Today we have a special episode for you guys. I'm here with my friend Woody.
Hello, I'm Woody. I am currently 22-year-old. I graduated from Stony Brook University, class of 2019, same with Alex, and I am applying to med school right now.
Yeah. So why we have Woody on today's podcast is because he's going through a very interesting part of the process of becoming a doctor, and he's done a lot in his past 4 years and going on into applying to med school. So I felt like that this would be a great way to show all of you people that are also trying to get into the medical profession.
Yeah.
So Woody, you told us a little about yourself, where you went to school, and what you're up to right now. So let me ask, how far are you in the medical school process right now?
In the whole application process, I
Okay.
just submitted my secondaries, and now I'm waiting to hear back from schools to offering me interviews.
Oh, great.
So, as I was scrolling through my phone's like email inbox and seeing all the schools be like, "Oh, your application is now completed, and now a committee will review it," and
Fun.
that's
And now you,
extremely stressful because everything's out of my hands.
I mean, you've done all the necessary work, right? So,
Exactly.
um, out of like curiosity, if it's okay if I ask, how well did you do on like the MCAT?
I score 516 in total, and that's about a 93 percentile according to the official MCAT
That's really good.
scaling. Yeah, it's probably one of the main thing that's bringing my confidence up in the whole application process.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I want to ask, like, did you have a high GPA in college? Because I know that for medical schools, like,
Oh,
a lot of people like stress that you must get A's and get a very high MCAT score and all of these things. Is that true?
I do have to say though, I am not one of those smart whiz genius kids who gets A in everything in 4.0. No, my GPA is around like 3.6
That's still
overall
pretty high,
and
man.
science. That's still pretty high, but then when you look at like the data of med schools that release about people who got interviewed and people who matriculated at their school, their GPAs are crazy high. And so like
Yeah.
if there's one thing that I feel weak on my application, like a big giant glaring red flag that schools can call me out on will be my GPA.
Damn, dude. All
Yeah,
right.
but
Well, today we're gonna kind of like take a trip down memory lane and go through, I guess, what got you up to this point,
mhm,
and we'll kind of get like the broader picture and maybe offer some advice at the end for anyone that's trying to be a doctor.
of course, of course.
So, I guess going to Stony Brook,
Mhm.
was this like your first pick? Did you know you wanted to go here for medicine? Does undergrad really matter when you're thinking about the longer term of higher education in the medical profession?
I think Stony Brook, first of all, was not on my list at all initially.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this actually came from my mom, who looked online, did her Asian parent
Dude,
Googling.
dude.
You know what I'm saying, you know what I'm talking about. But she did her Asian parent Googling and she found a list of schools where I can apply to that has a close connection to an associated med school
Mm-hmm.
and also offers great financial scholarship. Like
Ah,
one of the
yes.
biggest reasons why I came to Stony Brook was actually for the scholarship I was offered by
Mm-hmm.
the university. So that's why I'm like, okay, even though it's out of state, even though I was from Maine I lived
Yeah.
in Maine in high school, even though I was an out of state student, I still barely paid anything out of my pocket
Really? Wow,
for my tuition.
that's very
So
impressive.
that's why I was like, oh, I'll come to Stony Brook.
I didn't know that. You fooled me. Like, dude, you're living in the high living.
Yeah, no. I think it was just honestly my SAT. They just saw it and just give this man a couple thousands of dollars.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah, and
So I guess bringing up the topic of like costs. So you I guess this is like a try and true example that you really don't need to like overpay on undergrad and be like thousands of
no,
dollars in debt, right?
absolutely not. I mean, like if you do go to like those Ivy League undergrad schools like Harvard, Yale, et cetera,
Hmm.
I don't think it actually has a big effect in impacting the med school committee at those schools to accept
Hmm.
you because they get tens of thousands of applications worldwide, and they don't really need to look just within their own circle, like their own university community, kind of like that. They
Yeah,
have so many more options, and I really do think that going to maybe I wouldn't say second rate, but more like let's say your
like
state.
affordable maybe.
Exactly, like your
Yeah.
state university, like that works out perfectly. As long as you like stick with, getting a good score, getting a good GPA, keeping up
Mhm.
your extracurriculars, etc. I think
Alright,
you'll be set.
cool. So I guess th- I said that your parents like did a lot of this research for you. To like, is this something you wanted to do, or did you kind of just get thrown into uh like you must become a
Oh,
doctor?
I must become a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Actually, a big part of being a doctor was coming from my own passion, actually.
Okay.
Like, it started out all the way when I was a wee little kid in like kindergarten. I was a really, really
Wee
sick
lad.
kid. I was really sick. Oh my God. I was sick every other week. And so I saw my family doctor a lot and a pediatrician. And I guess kind of my passion grew from there, as cliche as it sounds, but it was really where I saw what the job meant, and felt the impact of this profession have on people. And then
Yeah.
just like the ball kept rolling, and I found myself enjoying sciences more. I found myself enjoying biology a lot more. And
Hmm.
then through college, through my like healthcare related activities,
Hmm.
kind of like solidify this passion of mine. Be like, this is it. This is what I want to be.
Yeah.
And my parents did have some say, like they did like kind of like push me towards like the STEM side of things.
Must be a doctor.
Exactly. Well, they didn't say that specifically. They just kind of want me to go into the sciences and math,
Yeah.
all that, because they were both like they were both into economics. They're
Oh,
both
okay.
professors in economics, so
Oh, that's cool.
they kind of just shoved me, be like, you're not gonna be like an English major or a history major. And I was like, same, like I don't like those either. I'll go to sciences. And
Not to bash on you history majors. Like
yeah. But
definitely like you need all types of people.
yeah, absolutely. In this current society, like what I want to talk about later on during the application process is that it's also about it's not just being the best at sciences that will guarantee you a spot in medical school, but more so being versatile and being knowledgeable about every topic in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
I feel like
medicine,
that's definitely a thing that like colleges when you're going into college, that's
hmm
important. They want to
hmm
see that you kind of did more outside of your just straight academics,
right.
and they want to see like is this a person that I can relate to, and like is this person Dr. Material,
hmm
right?
hmm
Yeah. So you mentioned like you definitely, and I know this, you did a lot of extracurriculars, but let's talk about like the classes that you took. So I know that the biology track had a lot of like hard classes. Like I know chem
Right.
is a big one, like
Right.
orgo is a big one.
Yeah.
Um, I guess how did you tackle it? How did you see other people kind of like tackling those hard classes? Is
hmm
it really as hard as they say and all
hmm
that?
Well, I was a biochemistry and psychology double major, and the psychology kind of tagged on afterwards after I took like one or two psych classes and found interest in psychology.
Yeah.
But regarding those hard classes, those like notorious, I forgot how to say it, but cut out, like like they're actually some like weed out classes. There we go.
Weed out classes,
Yeah.
I see.
So they're actually weeding out a lot of people who's like, oh, like maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'm not that strong in biology. I'm not that strong in chemistry. And that was the same feeling I had during my first year of college, where I wasn't consistently getting the grades that I wanted. And I was thinking,
Yep.
is this actually for me? Can I go into medicine with this in a
Mhm.
way? And I think the biggest thing that you need to do in order to succeed in these hard classes is to just have kind of a strong mindset, as
Mhm.
long as a mindset where you're willing to go seek help. And those are very
Mhm.
different things. Like strong mindset, like you will be able to like kind of study, grind through the material, like study,
Yeah.
take get all
All-nighters,
nighters.
long nights.
But it takes a different kind of strength to ask for help. Because
Uh-huh.
that's you telling yourself, that's you recognizing that I need help and I cannot do this alone. And I think that's a very, very good thing that you need to
You need
be willing to
the
do.
self-awareness to
Exactly.
know that like you need help.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And like even for me, like in the CS major, it was definitely a lot. There's, like you said, a lot of weed out classes and classes where uh the material would be like very difficult to learn by yourself, especially if you were never introduced to it. And that's why I guess like what'd you do for seeking help, like TAs and office hours?
TAs, yeah, TAs, office hour professors, like these professors, they have such a huge wide range of knowledge in the
Yeah,
field they're studying.
definitely.
And it was kind of waste like to not go up to them and talk about a few things in a
Mhm.
way, because they are professionals. And I honestly, I can't imagine how they work, because they must be really smart and they're just teaching these basic things to us kids. And they're just thinking, why don't you guys understand this? Like,
Oh man.
yeah.
I'm sure like they were there at that point. Like n- any doctor like today
Hmm.
was a student at some point,
Right.
you know? And like we're all students like through life and like continuously learning.
Hmm.
And a lot of these professors I know, they do research on the side and they work for the university and
Right.
they're like pursuing, that's their passion. So I'm sure that like a student that's just starting out, I'm sure they're happy to like share that knowledge with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all the professors I've been to, they're all super friendly. And in fact,
Uh-huh.
if you kind of ask them something specific about the field, maybe just something as general as, oh, like, what's your research topic? And
Yeah.
like, I want to learn more about research. They actually get really, really happy when you ask them about that.
Be
And
super
that's
excited.
usually like a big icebreaker for me. Like if I've never met with the professor before, I'll be like,
Yeah, on their good
oh,
side.
I read about your research online. Tell me more, and maybe
Oh,
we can chat about this one problem I have on the homework that you assign.
some
That's usually
brownie
how I,
points you
yeah,
ask.
that's usually how I tackled it. But yeah, like having that mindset that you know that you need help.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of classmates where they're really stubborn. They think they got it all, but
Hmm.
they just wouldn't. Like I would invite them to office hours, and they'll be like, "No, like I don't need to go. Like I can self-study this." And then days after the test, they're like, "Oh, I did really badly on the exam again. What did I do wrong?" So yeah,
And then you kind of know what they did wrong. They didn't
exactly.
really seek out help when they needed it.
Yeah.
That's some really good advice, man.
Mhm.
I
Just
guess
don't be embarrassed.
yeah,
Seriously.
that goes for a lot of things in life. Like you can't do everything by yourself.
Mhm.
I guess other than like, so I know obviously classes were definitely hard,
Mhm.
but let's talk a little bit about like the MCAT. So
Ooh.
so
Oh,
like I come from like a completely different background.
right.
I see MCAT as like another like an SAT,
Right.
like an SAT at the end of college, like for
Mhm.
med school. Is that kind of true, or is it like very different in terms of what you have to study and prepare? Like what is this test? Can you explain it a little more for everyone out there?
I think like I saw the MCAT as kind of less similar to SAT class tests, but more similar to AP tests. Because do you remember like those AP classes in high school where you
Yeah,
took a
so like a
class for a whole
specified topic.
year and then
Yeah.
just to take one exam in May that's cumulative on everything you learned in that year?
Yeah.
MCAT was kind of like that, except it tested you on everything you learned in college, at least in the science. So there are four sections to the MCAT. There's
Okay.
chemistry and physics, there's biology and biochemistry, there's psychology and sociology, and there's English and critical reading. So like these four are basically what you learned in class in a way, like everything you've been through college for.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a big hurdle for a lot of people, and the MCAT is less so about the information, the factual information that you learn, but more so about how you can successfully access them in your brain under a time constraint, like under a huge amount of pressure, knowing that this is the test where you have to present your score to medical schools. And that's a huge pressure. Like going to my first test, like first MCAT, I was completely out of my mind. Like when I click the start exam button, I was like, oh my god, it's actually starting. And then after 5 questions, I'm like, wait a second, oh my god, it's actually starting. Like, it.
Oh, you're kind of like in a trance, you
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
so like, how I know like how many times did you take the MCAT? Was it only one time?
Took it that once.
Oh, and you did great.
Yeah, I was extremely grateful that I was able to do so well on the MCAT, and yeah,
I mean,
props.
It's definitely worth like, you should be proud of that. Like, it's amazing to like score above like the 90 percentile. That's amazing. I guess going into the MCAT, like, what how much did you really prepare for it? Like, I know like some people like study like 2 years in advance. Like they start studying in sophomore year to take in like the end of the junior year. Like, is that really? Does it require this much time to really be successful in it, or is there a certain way that you kind of studied to get the score that you got?
So from the get-go, I knew that I could not do the studying by myself. I knew that this was such a huge exam with such a wide breadth of topic, and I didn't have any resources to start kind of like that. I mean, there were test prep books, but I was in college, so I didn't really have time to like pick up this giant prep book and start reading through and doing questions and everything. So I knew that I needed someone to push me, and so I took prep classes near Stony Brook University campus.
Oh, nice.
With like an ex-Kaplan teacher. I won't say his name because he kind of wants to remain anonymous, but he taught MCAT to Stony Brook students with the knowledge of what is being taught in Stony Brook's curriculum. So he knew exactly what we were missing in class.
Oh, really?
And so he taught it in his class.
That's very interesting. So are you saying that like classes itself won't just prepare you for an MCAT? Like you have to do like this extra studying?
I do think so. There's just like bits and pieces. Like you're gonna get the general idea from classes, but there's just like little things, like maybe 1 or 2 questions that you could have gotten if you did that extra little step, kind of like that. And like 1 or 2 questions, it's a lot. It's 2 points, and 2 points is a whole 4%, 5%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Like these MCAT distribution is crazy.
Jeez, man. That's tough.
Yeah. So I took a prep course, and for a whole year, it met twice a week. It was 3 hours each session. And then just for the whole year during the school year. So I was doing schoolwork on top of this MCAT practice and prep and everything. But he gave us amazing material. He gave us all the studying that we need, all the materials, all the full-length tests that we can practice on. And I really do have to dedicate my high score to him because he really helped a lot. Like my first practice test, I got a 505, which is like about like 60 percentile, like around there. And I was able to improve it to 516, which is a 93 percentile. Like it's that big of a difference when
10 points is 30%.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Oh my!
If you just listeners, if you just Google up MCAT score distribution 2019, these test writers, they're so good that no matter who takes the test, who takes the MCAT, it always ends up in a perfect bell curve. It's always with the center at 500. So if you score 500, that's 50%, 50th percentile.
Yeah.
And then it just goes like that, right?
Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
That's like that's so competitive. Wow.
Yeah.
I never realized that like 1 or 2 points like really made that much of a difference because like in the when at least when we took the SAT, I'm not sure if you took the ACT or SAT, but
I took both.
yeah, like an SAT, like, oh yeah, 10 points, like
It's
that was a
like
question, but like distributions were done by like 100 because it was out of 2,400.
right.
Like 10 points really didn't matter that much.
Right.
But 1 point.
Wow.
1 point
really matters a lot.
Yeah.
And in a way, you can see the MCAT as kind of a standardized way for med schools to tell whether or not you're academically capable of med school.
That makes sense.
Because it's a score where every applicant took, and so it's like a standardized scale you can put each applicant on. And so if you score 1 more point, that could actually mean that you're above another 1,000 applicants in terms of the school's decision process. Because they're gonna look at your file, they're gonna be like, these 2 kids have like same experiences, except this kid scored 1 point higher, so we're gonna take this kid. Exactly. So like each point actually matters a lot. And so to have that whole entire pressure going into this process was a little stressful. But
that sounds super stressful. But
yeah.
I mean, it's a stressful profession. Like people expect doctors to, be able to really do what they need to do.
Exactly.
I know I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want a doctor that doesn't know what he's doing, of course.
And I know for a lot of people, MCAT is like the biggest hurdle that they cannot overcome. And if they want to be pre-med, they knew they have to take the MCAT. And to encourage them, I would say that it's actually not like as much pressure as I'm talking about right now. It's a beatable test. It really is. Like if you find the right instructor, the right resources, the right material, it's a very beatable test. And the fact that I was improved by such a huge margin over like just probably 8 months of studying probably shows a lot. Like if you actually do put in the time and dedicate to it, you will get out with a high score. Like
so kind of like learning how to take the tests.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a learning curve to everything, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like you said plenty of people don't do like well sometimes, so it's not the end of the world if you like mess up the first test, right? Like you can always retake it. Is that like a thing?
Yeah. So I do think a big part of the MCAT taking process is taking it multiple times in a way, because like the more you take it, the more you understand the question structure, how you flow under a test taking environment. And I usually people do extremely well after their second or third try.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Usually, yeah. And here's a fun little fact for you non-MCAT takers or people looking to take the MCAT. At the end of the exam, you have an option. You have an option to void your results, void your score. Basically, if you feel like you didn't do well at all, you could completely erase your entry into the test, as in like nobody will know you took the test that day. Completely void everything.
So when med schools are looking at your MCATs, like they see all of your MCATs
so they see all the MCAT
that you said that you wanted to get graded.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's like a huge decision you have to make at the end of each test. Be like, do I feel confident enough? Do I feel confident enough to have this score? Like, if it's a good score, yay, happy world. But if it's a bad score, if you don't feel confident in taking the test, like, oh my god, I really messed up that physics section. Oh my god, I didn't really know as much psychology terms as I should have. You have the option to void your scores. So some people actually go into it, take the test, see how it's like, void their score, and then come back a second time.
Yeah, so you've basically taken the test already, and
exactly, except
you kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, there's no drawback except the cost. Each MCAT is $400. I think that's why I paid.
$400? Well, that's a lot of money for a college student.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it's insane. So like if you can't do the strategy if you want, but once again,
It's food for thought. Yeah,
food for
definitely
thought.
something
Exactly.
to keep in mind. Yeah. So you prepped for a year.
Hmm.
And these were 3-hour classes twice a week.
Right.
You had on top of your regular classes with a double major.
Crazy.
And I know you did a lot of extracurriculars. Like,
Oh
uh,
wow.
uh, I mean, I've known you. I've lived with you.
Hmm.
You what? You were a like on campus like medical professional or
Hmm.
something like that.
Hmm.
SBVAC. I don't
Yeah.
remember what that it stood for. And I know you were also part of a dance team as well.
Hmm.
Like, I guess go into that. Can you go into that and kind of tell me how you really balanced everything and like even had time for yourself and like, living
You
a
just
college life, like a
living.
regular student.
Yeah. I would say whenever like what my friends know me by is how busy I am and how much I have on my plate. I feel like everyone is surprised when I say, "Oh yeah, I'm free this weekend." And they're like, "You don't have like this and this to do?" So I was an EMT with the Stony Brook Volunteer Ambulance Corps,
Uh-huh.
and I was on the team, and I was manager for a Casby dance team for 3 years, and I also did research here and there. And in the last year of my college, I was a medical scribe at Stony Brook University Hospital's emergency department.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot on my plate, and it started out with SPVAC, being an EMT. Like I did that in freshman year, and then in sophomore year I joined CDT, and then in junior year I started scribing, and then started a lot of research
And these
on
things
campus.
never went away. They just
And it
kept
never went
piling
away.
up.
So what I was saying is like it kind of just like stacked up. I didn't front load myself with everything. I didn't think like, oh, I'm gonna do this like together, like start
Yeah.
it all together. It's definitely a huge process to get used to the busy schedule. So what I did
Mm.
was kind of just I knew I kind of controlled myself in a way like each year be like, okay, this year I'm gonna do this year I'm gonna try to accomplish this. I think this is a great time for this thing.
Uh-huh.
So I can't really advise on how to balance out your busy schedule. Like if someone comes up to me like, "Oh, Woody, how do you balance this schedule?" I won't be able to say anything because everyone's different in how
Very
they
true. Yeah.
how they deal with it. And for me, it was kind of taking things slowly, like this, kind of like that. And then in the end, at the end of my college, I was
You
super busy with
super busy.
everything. So what a fun, great senior year to go out on and everything. Yeah,
I always remember when we invited you to like a board game night, you're like, I'm on call,
I'm
or
on call,
like
bro.
I
Or
gotta
like,
study, I got an
I'm,
exam.
yeah.
It's like I got
Oh
dance practice. It's like, all
goodness.
right, man.
But God, am def I'm also definitely not like the most kind of how do I say this motivated student because you see me I too sit in my dorm and play League for like 3 hours 4 hours. I still do try to climb to diamond. Like I still do things where I love to do like playing video games and or
Yeah.
playing board games like hang out with people, but it is a big sacrifice that you have to make when you're trying to go into pre-health where you have to do a lot of things and you have to do enough things so you can put on your applications in a way.
Yeah. So do you
And
feel that like these extracurriculars like enhance your application compared to like someone else that might have just done like maybe just got a high GPA and a high MCAT score?
I
Like,
definitely like each the MCAT the application process in the activity section, you literally have to list out everything that you did in college, every
oh, I
job
see.
position that you held, every club that you were in,
Hmm.
basically everything. And then you have to like write a description on them as well. So
Hmm.
it's a huge part of the application where they want to see what you did in college, what you learned from it, how
Yeah.
many hours did you do, and was it meaningful to you in a way.
That you're
And
not just like
then
a robot like taking
exactly.
tests all day.
Exactly. And I think that's where I really have a leg up on other applicants, perhaps.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't think you can find EMT by day dancer by night, and then medical scribe
Student
sometime somewhere in the middle, you know. It's kind of
doing
like
the rest of the time. Sleep comes like, after all of that.
exactly. And so it's kind of like you're just building up a unique profile where you can say,
Yeah.
this is who I am and this is why you should take me in a way.
Yeah, you're kind of like with any other like interview process, you're really kind of trying to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Dang, dude. I didn't realize you did all these things. I knew you're always busy, but I didn't like realize how much you really
Yeah, dude.
were doing.
Dude, how many times did you invite me to like a hang out at night and I say, "Oh, I got practice." You know? Like how many times did I say that?
We just kind of got used to it.
Exactly. And then I just got stopped invited. Oh my god.
TFDI. Ah!
Exactly. You're like, guys, I was actually free this whole time. But I still definitely try to give the time to my friends and to what I'm passionate about, which was league at the time. Yeah. But
Great kid.
I really still enjoy my college life, and I'll actually encourage everyone out there to, not just maybe focus on getting things into application, but rather really focus on what makes you happy and what makes you passionate.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yes.
true. Like I feel that if you're not really passionate about something, it's kind of hard to definitely put in the work for it. And if you're like life is meant to be really enjoyed, you're not going to 4 years of college just to, get that degree and then get a job and work till you die. You're there for the growth that comes with it through the
Exactly.
people that you meet and the experiences that you do. And I'm sure, like, I knew you since freshman year, like, we've come a long way in that we're really on our ways into, like, our professional careers.
Mhm.
And I think we can attribute that to a lot of the things that we've done in college.
Oh. And it's like,
Yeah.
look at us now. Like you a CS major working at a CS job. I a pre-health track trying to apply to med school right now. It's like it really is an experience because somewhere
Yep.
along the way I also thought about, hey, what if I go to CS? Like all my friends were CS. Why not try to like, dive a little bit? And
You're
I took
the one like medical major in our
I
dorm
know.
of CS people.
I know. I don't know how I don't even know how I got there, but I got there and I took a class. I took a programming class and I was like, nope, nope, not CS is not for me.
Yeah.
Like it's because I took the class and I experienced it that I knew that okay, this I don't really feel that great doing this, so I'm gonna look at other things in a way. And
Definitely.
gradually that became biology and biochemistry, and then even more gradually became healthcare.
Yeah.
So that's why I settled on.
Definitely. You have to like try things out and kind of feel your way because a lot of times find the you find that your first choice wasn't the right choice. It's okay to like take that step
Right.
back and say,
Right.
this isn't
I
for me. Let's try something else.
I changed my track so many times. At one point, I was gonna be an what's that called? What's that person that manipulates your spine for you?
Chiropractor?
Chiropractor. Yes. I at one point I actually wanted to become a chiropractor, and at some point I wanted to become a physical therapist.
Uh-huh.
And then I shadowed a chiropractor, and also I worked in the physical therapy lab, and then just kind of learned more about the field.
Mhm.
Found it enjoyable, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like just kind of like this little path, like this Woody going through college, like maybe Liz, never mind, taking a U-turn coming back, kind of like that.
Yeah, kind of getting a taste of everything and figure out what you really like.
So
So I
it
guess like what I know there's like a bunch of types of doctors. What kind of doctor are you trying to be?
so far all of my healthcare experiences kind of center around emergency medicine,
Okay.
and yeah, honestly, I really do think it's a great specialty to go into
Hmm.
because you kind of see everything.
Hmm.
A doctor who I scribed for told me that being an emergency medicine doctor means that you won't be an expert in any field,
Okay.
but you will know every field. Kind
That's
of like that.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you have to know everything, you don't know what's going to come through the door in the stretcher. Someone could be having renal failure, or someone could be having CHF exacerbation, like all these things where they're completely different systems, but you have to have the knowledge to be able to treat it and to keep the patient stable. And I think that's a really, really grand vision of emergency medicine, and I think I would be able to thrive in that field.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a little exciting, but
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Because part of me kind of don't want to be a doctor who has a schedule, like maybe like patient appointments, etc. Or I kind of don't want to be a doctor who rounds on patient, like admitted patients in the hospital where it's kind of the same patient every single day in a way. I kind of want to be in emergency medicine where you don't exactly know who you're gonna see, you don't exactly know how many are you gonna see, and you don't exactly know what you're gonna see. Like it's exciting. Like every shift feels completely different, even though it might be like the same time frame, like the same 8 hours at night. Like it's
That's
completely different.
definitely like that. I mean, like people need to do it. I don't know if I
Yeah.
could handle that. Definitely don't think I could.
Yeah.
Like
So it's
that's
like you have to go from like doing nothing, just chilling, and then going in and then immediately go to like two patients having cardiac arrest right now. Like
oh
that
my
kind of
gosh.
workflow is emergency medicine.
Like at the end of the day, you're saving lives and making
Yeah,
people like happy and like healthy, and
exactly.
that's great. That's
And
awesome, man.
it's I don't know, it's kind of how do I put this? It's kind of you feel a lot of emotion doing the job.
I'm sure,
Whether
yeah.
it is through making someone happy, whether it is through making a family member happy,
Mm-hmm.
or perhaps you have to comfort family members on their recently passed away loved one. Like that happens many, many times in emergency medicine, and
Mm-hmm.
where someone could be a walking normal human being, just only 50-year old, like halfway through life, still has a lot ahead of them, and then just suddenly passed away like that, or
Yeah.
have debilitating conditions like that completely changed their life. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it's a lot of emotions and personal values that you have to put into the job because you have to connect with these people in a
Yeah.
way. You have to connect with your patients. You have to connect with the family members. You cannot just rely on your knowledge of medicine to get you through everything. And the best doctors I've seen are usually the ones who can connect the best with their patients and families. I really do think that. And I think going
Mm-hmm.
into whichever specialty I end up choosing, I'll try to kind of instill that value inside of me. Like I want to be a people's doctor. I want to talk to my patients. I want
Yep.
to constantly check up on them. I want to make them feel like this isn't something that they should fear. That I shouldn't be the one where they're scared seeing, but rather I should be the one where they feel relief on seeing, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like the doctors are the good guys. They're just trying to help.
Yeah,
Dang, dude.
that's
You're
literally
doing good. You're doing good work, and I
pouring out
know
my
that
passion for you right now, man. I love medicine.
I know you'll make it 100%. It's a matter of time.
Thanks, brother.
Damn, dude. All right, we've really like gone through a lot.
Hmm.
Um, like you said, you're like in the midst of applications. You sent them out, and you're just waiting.
Hmm.
And I guess to close out the podcast, do you have like really any advice for like maybe something that you come in um being medical like trying to be a medical student or people that want to follow on the same path?
Hmm. Well, for everyone out there, whether you're STEM major or non-STEM majors, or
Mm.
maybe someone who wanted to be one thing, but now they're exploring, oh, maybe I can be a doctor. To all of you, I would say the best thing to do is, stay humble in a way, because there's a whole breadth of knowledge out there, and you need to be self-aware and humble about your own knowledge. Be like, okay, this is what I know now. It's not a lot, but it can get me through the next phase and the next phase after that, and kind of just keep expanding your knowledge until you find the one thing that where you think, okay, I can dedicate my life, my passion, my energy, all my time to this one subject. And I really do think that's the most important, is to stay humble and to keep trying to find that one thing that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm. That's some great advice. All right. Thanks so much, Woody, for joining me today.
Thank you so
for
much.
everyone that you made it this far and have listened to us kind of talk about how we've come all this way to getting to the medical school process.
Oh.
And yeah, thanks for listening. Consider maybe giving us a follow and stay tuned for future episodes. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks, Woody. Bye-bye.